Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are going to start with our new topic of social studies, that is lesson number 13, beginning of the British rule in India. In this chapter we are going to learn about the coming of the British to India, wars fought to gain control of India, strengthening of EEIC, and the revolt of 1857. Let's see how the British they came to India. In 1498, Vasco da Gama of Portugal discovered the sea route from Europe to India. He sailed around Africa via the Cape of Good Hope and reached Calicut. He returned to his country with a cargo full of goods such as spices, calicos, then silk, gold, pearls, ebony, and other luxury articles from India, which were sold for 60 times the cost of his voyage. Means the cost which the voyage took from Portugal to India more than that. They made a huge profit by buying goods at a lower price from India and selling them in the European markets at higher prices. The success of the Portuguese led the trade from Holland, France, and Britain to sail to India, to come to India. The Portuguese were the first to land at Calicut. Now it is called as Kozhikode in the modern state of Kerala. These Portuguese they were followed by the Dutch and the French. Now we come to the next part of our lesson, that is the English East India Company. The English merchants they formed the English East India Company in 1600. It is also called as EEIC, English East India Company. This East India Company was formed under the authority of Queen Elizabeth I, and it was set up to conduct trade in India, or you can say business in India. Now, this charter or the order which was given by Queen Elizabeth was to carry out trade in India. Then in 1615, the Mughal Emperor Jahangir he allowed the EEIC, English East India Company, to set up their first factory, that is the trading post you can say in Surat. This particular thing or this allowed the EEIC to carry out trade within the Mughal territory. By 1623, the British they had set up their trading post in different places of India like Surat, Broch, Ahmedabad, and Agra. Now these British people they also fortified some trade centers and factories which include Fort William, which was in Calcutta. Calcutta is now called as Kolkata. Then Fort St. George in Madras, which is now as Chennai, and a fort at Bombay, now Mumbai. You can see the picture. This fort is of St. George in Madras, St. George. Then now next we come to the next part of our lesson, that is the wars which were fought to gain control of India. Now, after setting up the factories, the next aim of the British was to gain complete control over the trade by annexing more territories in India, by taking more area or region under their control. Now, to achieve this aim, the Britishers they fought many wars, numerous wars, and these wars were against the French, the Dutch, and the Portuguese trading companies. Other than these, other wars were fought against the rulers of India, of small kingdoms in different parts of India. One of the wars was the Carnatic War. The Carnatic Wars were a series of three wars, which was between 1746 and 1763. It was by the East India Company and the French East India Company, between English East India Company and French East India Company. Now, these both the Britishers and the French they wanted to gain great control over India. So now the Indian rulers they also joined these wars to further their own cause and defeat their rivals. But finally, what happened? The East India Company they took advantage and they had gained control over the trade of India. Other than Carnatic War, there were many other battles which were fought in India, like the battle over Bengal. The battles fought in Bengal they were very important as Bengal was the richest province or richest state in India at that time. So the EEIC, English East India Company, they fought two battles to gain control over the province of Bengal. The first one was the Battle of Plassey, which was fought in 1757. Because the Britishers were misusing the trade privilege. Privilege means the benefit which was given to them by the former Nawab, and they were not paying the duty or the tax also at that time. And they had started building their army and expanding their base at Calcutta, now called as Kolkata. Now, this thing was against the Nawab of Bengal, Sirajuddaula. You can see the picture. This is Sirajuddaula. The Britishers they won the battle, and Sirajuddaula was captured and was put to death. And after him, Mir Jafar was made the ruler of Bengal. After the Battle of Plassey, means after few years or few years later, Battle of Boxer was fought, which was in 1764. It was between the Nawab of Bengal, Mir Qasim, and the English East India Company. Now, this India Company had used their victory, means they used their victory in the Battle of Plassey to get number of benefits from the new Nawab of Bengal, Mir Qasim. The company, they misused these benefits, the privileges which were given to them, and they reduced the income of Bengal. Now, tired of this plunder, or you can say situation, to take valuable things from one place using force, means what they were doing, the Britishers, they were forcing, they were taking valuable things from a place using their force, their strength, and they were causing a lot of damage also to the province of Bengal. And tired of this plunder by the British, Mir Qasim, he declared a war against the company. And Mir Qasim, he was supported by the Nawab of Awadh, Suja ud Dawla, and the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. Now, to again the Britishers, the British Company, the East India Company, they were victorious over in the war. Next was the strengthening of the company's power. Now, after the Battle of Plassey and Boxer in the EEIC introduced other policies also to strengthen their position in India, to strengthen their government in India. The first one was the subsidiary alliance. According to the term of this alliance, means according to the rules of this alliance, Indian rulers were not allowed to have their independent forces. They were to be protected by the company and had to pay for the subsidiary forces. Means they were not allowed to form their own army. They were saying that the company will protect them, and instead of this protection, they have to pay to the company. Under Richard Vicely as the Governor General, who was between 1798 to 1805, the Nawab of Awadh and Hyderabad were forced to give part of their territory as they had failed to pay for the alliance. Next alliance was the doctrine of lapse. Lord Dalhousie, he was the Governor General from 1848 to 1856. He devised the doctrine, he devised this alliance, and he stated in this alliance that a kingdom could be annexed if the king died without a male heir. Means if the king if he dies without a male child, then the kingdom will be ruled by the British Company. And many other kingdoms which were annexed, which were taken over by the Britishers, were Satara, Sambhalpur, Udaipur, Nagpur, Jhansi, and Awadh. Now let's learn about the next part of the lesson, that is the revolt of 1857. After the Battle of Plassey and Boxer, the company took different step to strengthen their position in India. The company's rule over India was not a fair one. They were not good, you can say. The Indians were considered to be the inferior of the British. Means the British all they exploited Indians and their resources. The peasant means what? Peasant means the people who cultivate land. You can say them as farmers. In India were forced to grow crops that were required by the British factories, which were required by the British factories, the raw material. And not only this, the peasants they also had to pay heavy taxes to the British. The Indian sepoy means the Indian soldier who were serving under the British. Then the poor peasants, the local Indian rulers, landlords, the common people all suffered under the British company. All suffered. It was the Indian sepoy in the British army who finally revolt against the British, who spoke against the British rule. The main cause for their discontent was the payment of lower salaries than the British soldiers. Means the Indian soldiers they were given less salary than the British soldiers. Then the poor conditions or the service of Indian soldiers and the reservations which were given to the British soldiers were not given to the Indian soldiers who were working for the British company. And this revolt is also known as the First War of Indian Independence. Not only the Indian soldiers, soon after that, some farmers, craftsmen, and the rulers of some Indian kingdoms they joined the revolt. And after that, they declared Bahadur Shah Zafar, the last Mughal emperor, as their leader. But the British they crushed the revolt, and the revolt of 1857 you can say it was not successful, and it was brought to an end. You can see some of the leaders of the revolts of 1857. One was the Mangal Pandey, another one is Rani Lakshmi Bai, Tatya Tope, Kuwar Singh, and Begum Hazrat Mahal. These are some of the leaders who fought in the revolt of 1857. Now, when the revolt of 1857 was brought to an end by the English East India Company in India, the power to govern India was transferred from the company, the English East India Company, to Queen of England, Queen Victoria. And after that, she became the Empress of India, and India became a British colony. After that, the Queen Victoria, she appointed a viceroy to administer India. Viceroy means a person who is sent by a king or a queen to rule over another country. So let's have a quick recap what we have learnt today in our lesson. First we learned how the Britishers they came to India. We have learned that the Portuguese were the first to who came to India, and seeing their profit, they were followed by Holland, France, and Britain. After that, we learned how the East India Company was formed under the charter or under the authority of Queen Elizabeth I. Then we have seen the wars which were fought to gain the control of India, like the Carnatic War, then the battles which were fought over Bengal, the Battle of Plassey and Battle of Boxer. These were the two battles which were fought to gain control over India. Then we have seen, to strengthen the company's power, the British people, they introduced some policies like the subsidiary alliance, the doctrine of lapsi. Then we have learnt about the revolt of 1857, which was, you can say, not a successful one. So hope this lesson was easy for you, and thank you. We'll meet you in the next session. Allah Hafiz.